Depends on if you like bitter brush or not.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
These are good problems to have, right?
Very.
So much success that you have more than one place to be.
5-3, touchdown, Oregon.
Off the dribble, launches, and hits the three. Oregon leads.
What a great opportunity it is to be able to play at University of Oregon.
I'm just incredibly proud to be a part of something like this.
She wants another three. Oh, three in a row.
Swing and a miss. Oregon is headed to the Super Regional.
Fans being out there making this a great impact.
We are so privileged and so fortunate. We get to see all these young people. We get to see this incredible growth, which is what college is all about.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
Pick day on this Friday here in the Country Financial Studio. This is Duck Insider. It's a little bit more crowded here on the desk. We've got Georgie and
I
Jerry
get to sit here.
Woo, yes. Where do you normally sit?
Are you a little nervous with me sitting next
Yes,
to you?
I'm very intimidated.
I would be too.
Yes. Yeah, your breath smells fine, so we're good.
Yeah.
Hopefully mine's all right. Close quarters here. We're really lucky to be joined by the voice of the Ducks, Jerry Allen, and Mike Jorgensen. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't miss
Good to be here.
Chance
Yeah.
to jump Joey's butt.
Yeah, that's right. Set some new rules in motion, some various things like that.
That's
so.
what's fun about today is Joey's not here to, A, defend himself.
Right? Yeah.
And
listen to the
B, you guys can call for a quorum and just start changing rules if you want.
For the week, anyway.
Just for this week.
Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Yeah.
Well, think about it.
Let's think about some of them.
We'll see. Well, we'll go through the picks later, but you had a really good week last week. You were perfect, Georgie. So we'll see if you can ride that momentum. I'll be picking for the coin. The coin's having a tough year, so we'll see if I can get something going here and get the coin back on track.
Georgie was perfect.
It was.
You went undefeated.
I went undefeated. I'm
You got
still in
every
third,
one?
and I'm still in third place behind you and Joey. It's like, how bad was it the previous 3 weeks? I guess is what you have to look at.
They both went 11-1, so
okay.
it was all pretty close.
good.
There was some tight calls last week too.
Yes.
Tight games.
Yeah, they were good games.
Yeah, and another pack of 12 games here this week that we'll be picking. It's been a busy week. Obviously, no football game for the Ducks here this week. The basketball schedules did come out yesterday, so we're looking forward to hoop season coming up in early November as the women will be starting November 1st. They fully released the specific dates of the Big Ten schedule. As you can see if you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, you can see exactly when they're going to play at Illinois and to Northwestern and making that trip to Pennsylvania. So going to be an exciting year with a lot of new faces for Ducks women's basketball and also some familiar returners like Peyton Scott and Philly Che inside. So it'll be a fun year, and usually basketball kind of sneaks up on you, but we'll get out in front of it. Get ready. It's only about a month away, and then we get to the really busy time of year. And, of course, Oregon men's basketball with a really fun schedule as well with some marquee opponents as well on their slate as things will be a little bit different in the Big Ten, but it's kind of fun to see some of those big names, right? You think about the big matchups men's basketball has had with Wisconsin over the years, whether it's the NIT or the NCAA tournament, and now they get to play them in conference play. That'll be interesting. So things a little bit different, but that's the full schedule, and it is available online, both the women's and men's schedules on GoDucks.com. Some other things just to get to before we dive into the picks. Mimi Collier yesterday was announced, earning some accolades. At least she's on a watch list. The AVCA National Player of the Year watch list. Yeah,
Cool.
So she's being looked at as potentially the best player in the country. Obviously, she's already in that category of one of the best in the country, but she's on the watch list now to potentially take that trophy at the end of the year. And Oregon soccer was in action last night. They played in Piscataway, New Jersey, which, by the way,
that's still amazing.
Yes, a conference game at Rutgers. I completely botched the pronunciation of Piscataway. Steve Tannen, actually, friend of the show, actually texted me. He's from Jersey, and he's like, just so you know, that is not how you pronounce Piscataway at all.
How were you saying it?
We'd have to check the tape. I think I said something like Piscataway or something. And
it's a Native American name, so some of those are hard to pronounce.
I should have known. I should have looked it up. And so he texted me. He's like, "You're an idiot. Not even close." So
that sounds like Steve right there.
Good call, Steve.
He was very nice. But I felt like an idiot after that. But it's Piscataway. Oregon came away with a 3-0 loss, unfortunately, in that one. But they'll have an opportunity, I should say, to bounce back on Sunday when they play at 10 a.m. At Maryland. Another conference matchup taking place there in Maryland. So now we got a chance to get into the picks. Let's go to an early break here. When we come back, we'll get to picks. 12 games this week. Jerry, Jorgie are here. Joey's not, but we'll have his picks available for you as well. Back after this, Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back in the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Chris Clayton here with Jorgie and Jerry. Let's get to it. Big Ten picks here. Guys, do you have anything in terms of what stands out this week? Are we going to change any rules or anything? Should we just go through the games?
Well, let's think about it. As we go through the games, we may get, come up with a couple of ideas.
Okay, so again, just want to recap. So normally who always goes first, the person that goes first is the person who is in the lead in total number, right? It's not it's not last week's games that has you going first this week. It usually is.
I thought it was whoever won last week wins the right to go last this week. Yeah. I think, So you won last week, so you get to go last.
So I get the right to go last. Okay.
But to me, that's wrong. You won. You should get to go first. So we may change that.
Well, no, I want to go last. I don't want to go first.
Well, no,
this week, but maybe next week we change it.
Okay, we can't change it this week because we're already on the show, but we can change it for next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Right?
Well, here's the other thing we haven't talked about is Oregon has a bye this week.
Right.
Yes. So I vote that the second and third place people, to be able to at least make it more interesting for the first place person, who's Joey at this particular time, are able to make a bonus pick on the Oregon game this week.
Oh, because
who doesn't play anybody, so
we can pick them.
Yeah, so we can pick them. We get an extra point.
Well,
he doesn't get any, and then we catch up by one.
Dan Lanning always says it's Oregon versus Oregon.
Yeah.
So who's winning though?
And Joey doesn't get but Joey's in first place. He doesn't get to pick
because he's not here.
You're creating a rule to just give yourself an extra point.
Yeah,
which
pretty much.
I respect that.
Okay, we got to vote. Okay, so we vote.
I
you
believe that.
So are we voting on that bonus pick?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in favor of it.
What's your vote?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, you are in favor.
Okay,
look,
bonus
pick. It's unanimous.
I'm
that's
the guest picker here. I'm going with whatever you guys want.
Okay. Do you want to start with that game, by the way?
Let's start with the Oregon game. Yeah.
We can start with the Oregon game. We're getting some texts from Joey as well on who he thinks the pick order should be. But honestly, you know what? He's not on the show. He's not on the show.
Okay. I know.
So
Okay.
I'm sorry, Joey.
Shut him down.
Once the show starts, we cannot accept calls, texts.
Turn your phone upside down
That's
so you have no
idea. The phone
idea.
is going upside down.
There we go.
Nope. So
who do you pick?
Well, I'm gonna go with Oregon this week.
Yeah.
I just feel good about that.
Yeah, I think the way they played last week and just a lot of confidence going into this week, I think I'm taking Oregon.
I wrote that down. Oregon. They picked Oregon. Okay. So that's one. All right. Our picks are
You're
brought
tied
to you
for the
by-
lead now, aren't you?
That's it.
That's right.
They just made up a game.
I like that.
Picks of the week brought to you by Seven Feathers Casino Resort, best in the Northwest. There is a game tonight. It's a big one.
Yeah.
5 p.m. tonight. Illinois and Nebraska, a couple top 25 teams. So we're starting the order that I have down. I think that we agreed upon before the show. Jerry, you're first. Who do you got?
Well, this is at Nebraska, I think, isn't it? Yeah,
it is,
it's at Nebraska. I like Dylan Raiola. I think he's a big guy. He can move a little bit, but he throws a really good ball. 5 touchdowns, only 1 pick. Makes good decisions. Nebraska's back. I just think Nebraska's back. So I think they're a 7-point pick in this or 7.5. I'm going Nebraska.
Yeah,
love it. Okay, next pick we have Joey. I'm trying to make sure I have the order down here correctly. So we do have some graphics prepared for those of you that are watching. Really fun graphic. Look at that. Look at the picture.
Oh, my gosh. I've never seen that picture.
All time.
That's Joey?
That's Joey with COVID hair, is my understanding.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Also known as early in college hair. When I first met him, he kind of had hair like that. So he picked Nebraska, by the way. We were kind of distracted by his haircut in that photo, but he's got Nebraska as well.
That photo was taken when he was standing near a tree that got hit by lightning.
You think?
Yeah.
Like a mad scientist that he is.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
Georgie, who you got?
Well, I tell you what, as Jerry said, from a standpoint of who's favored in this game, Nebraska by a touchdown, I think that's the home field advantage they get. That's how even these two teams are. And, Dylan Raiola has been really good so far this year as in his first year of playing major college football, frankly, the transfer from Georgia. But I think it's Nebraska's defense that is every bit as good or better on this team that's going to carry the team all year long. They're going to a bowl. They're just going to figure out a way to get there as they get better and better on offense, but it's their defense that gets the job done, so I'm taking the Cornhuskers.
I want to pick Illinois just to be different, but I got Nebraska as well. I think defensively is where that they're also improved in addition to their quarterback play. So I've got Nebraska. Again, I'm picking on behalf of the coin, so I've got a big hill to climb. The coin has only hit 20 this year as opposed to 37, 36, and 35.
I think you're going to do better than the coin this week. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe.
One would hope so. You got a 50-50 chance, right?
Yeah. Next game, that's at 9 a.m., one of the early games Saturday morning. Marshall at number 3 Ohio State. I think I have an idea of who you're going to pick here, Jerry.
Marshall's really playing well, though. Yeah. I mean, Marshall could be the upset of the year.
Whoa.
It's not going to be, but it could be. I mean, if Marshall could find a way to win Ohio State easily.
That's fair. Yeah, it could be.
Could be.
It could be, yeah. It would be. But you picked Ohio State.
Yes,
okay,
Ohio State.
For the record. All right. Joey, back to the amazing photo. Let's see who he picked here. Joey's pick, drum roll, Ohio State. Wow. He picked the Buckeyes. No big surprise there. And it's never going to get old.
I'm sorry.
It's like Back to the Future,
Doc Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. The graphics we had prepared for you guys had really professional, nice-looking headshots. The picture for Joey was just obviously ridiculous.
More honest. More real.
Yeah, more real.
That's right.
Georgie, who you got?
Well, Ohio State. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think Ohio State just takes it to the Thundering Herd.
Yes, and that's who I have as well. I think Ohio State, they've only played Western Michigan and Akron to this point, so I think there's still maybe some questions on who Ohio State is.
Probably will be after this week, right?
Yeah, but it's only Marshall, so we maybe won't learn that much quite yet.
That's right.
Charlotte and Indiana, the third Big Ten game of the week. Who you got?
Wait, the coin's got to pick.
Oh, yeah, I picked Ohio State.
Are you sure? The coin doesn't normally do that.
That's a good point.
Okay, so
it kind of threw you.
You're going coin, thinking like a coin.
Because there's a chance it could have been the Thundering Herd, right? We were holding out for it.
You really sold me with the. Technically, they could win.
Okay, coin won Ohio State.
It's a smart coin.
All right. Well, okay, who we got next?
Charlotte at Indiana.
Charlotte at Indiana. Really? I never saw that game on the schedule, so I didn't look at it at all. Where is
preparations on point?
Charlotte is in Montana, right? I didn't. Indiana. I'm gonna pick Indiana. Not a close game.
Okay. And Joey, let's see who he's got. Joey, there's not as many, one of these games. Yeah, he picked Indiana.
Okay.
So there's a few games this week that are kind of up in the air. These are the type of games where we could probably have a good idea of who you're going to pick, George.
Indiana's got it going, guys. And I think they are going to give a lot of people in the Big Ten Conference trouble this year. And Oregon gets a chance to see them too, and I think it's going to be a fun game. But boy, I tell you, they took it to UCLA in the Rose Bowl. It's a Rose Bowl, right? I mean, they haven't been there forever. 50, 60 years since they'd been actually in the Rose Bowl, and they played there. Took down the Bruins big time, and they come back home against Charlotte. Again, I don't think it's a contest at all, but watch out for Indiana as the season progresses.
Yeah, they're added to the depth of the conference. They got a transfer quarterback, Curtis Rourke, who had 4 touchdowns against UCLA, so they're looking tough. I've got Indiana as well. That's my pick.
Charlotte's the Hornets, aren't they? Oh, that's NBA.
That's
never mind.
Close enough.
That's what I would have said too.
Apologies
what are
to
they?
They're the 49ers.
49ers.
Oh. Apologize
I
to any
have said
Charlotte
that.
fans, but
no disrespect. Charlotte.
No, they've got their hands full though.
Yeah.
This is not a basketball game for the record. Football game here. Villanova at Maryland.
Woo! Villanova, Maryland.
How's Villanova been this year? You got some notes there. I mean, I didn't even look at notes because I just figured it's going to be Maryland. But at the same time, I should have looked it up.
I don't even know if I put Villanova on this. No, I don't think I did.
Okay.
No, I did. Who are they playing?
It is Villanova at Maryland. Maryland beat Virginia last week, lost to Michigan State earlier on in the year. That's kind of the context of how Maryland's season's gone.
Maryland's not very good. I mean, can
Are
I
they
flip
better?
a coin?
Oh.
Yeah, are they better? Are they better?
Yeah, you can flip a coin if you want.
No, I'm going to go. Maryland's not very good, so I'm going Maryland.
Okay,
Upset.
that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's see who Joey went with between Villanova and Maryland. And he picked Maryland.
Maryland's taking the upset.
Maryland's a 17-point favorite in this game, so there's no question.
Yeah. Maryland made a nice comeback against Virginia last week because when we left the press box, they were behind. I thought, not another one. Then I started thinking, well, this next week we'll get a free one by taking Oregon in the bye week. And so I figured that was going to probably happen. So I took the chance with Maryland. It actually paid off. So I'm taking Maryland one more time.
Part of what's been fun is being involved in the broadcast this year is I get to see how much the picks are on your guys' minds throughout the week. You guys are constantly thinking about how you can get an edge in the picks.
That's right.
So it's very competitive.
2 weeks ago, Georgia lost a game. It was like in the middle of the second quarter. Looked up and he threw his hot dog against the window. So I knew it upset him. But then you come back this week and you go undefeated.
Yeah.
So.
Bounce back.
That was a pleasant
We do
surprise.
get into it. We get into it.
Yeah, it's serious. So we both picked Maryland. The next one, on paper, doesn't look so close either. Kent State at Penn State, who's 10th in the country right now.
Not even close. It's almost not even worth wasting time on. It's a big mismatch, Penn State.
Yeah.
Who did Tennessee score like 60 or 70 in the first half against last week?
Yeah, so
was it Kent State?
It was Kent State. Yeah,
Okay, that's what I thought.
71-0 was the final Kent State. So if Penn State doesn't put up 71, then they're not as good as Tennessee.
Yeah.
Right? Is that how it works?
Is it really?
I think that's how sports work, right? Let's see who Joey picked between Kent State and Penn State. There it is, Penn State. All right,
we're all
shocker.
going to pick the same. Everybody's going to pick the same one.
Yeah, probably. There's a few decisive games, but this is not one.
Penn State.
Penn State. I got Penn State as well. Okay, here's one of the ones where we should have some differences here. This is a big game, one of the biggest games nationally. Big Ten battle, USC, number 11 right now, at number 18, Michigan. Who you got, Jerry?
Well, it's at Michigan, which will help Michigan. Are they back yet? I don't know. They didn't look very good early, but teams sometimes struggle a little bit till they find themselves. I think Oregon, first couple of weeks were trying to find themselves. Michigan may be there. But USC surprised me with their defense. They've got defense to go with their offense now. Miller Moss, he just manages the game well. He's a big guy. He throws the ball well. Michigan, I just don't think they've got enough to keep up with USC. I think USC wins this game.
USC is the pick for Jerry. Joey, let's see who he went with between USC and Michigan. He's got USC as well.
Dang it.
You might have to go off script later to try and get some differences. Jordan.
I got to tell you, I mean, my biggest question for USC is how are they going to respond when they get smacked in the mouth this weekend? Because is the first name of the quarterback from Michigan Alex? Is it
Alex Orji? Yep.
Alex Orji. He is a runner. He can run the ball well, not necessarily an efficient passer, but he can run the ball. And they may only throw it 10 or 15 times to see what they do from a run game standpoint. They got a pretty good offensive line. And frankly, USC hasn't seen an offensive line like this yet. LSU, more of a finesse offense that they saw. Utah State, really no competition. So this is going to be the first time they get smacked in the mouth. And how do they respond? That's going to be the biggest question I have. I still don't have enough faith in Michigan to be able to score enough points in this game against USC, and so I'm taking the Trojans too.
Well, that makes me feel better now. I picked Michigan. I think part of it is that I'm being aggressive. I want to go for the perfect week. I do think Alex Orji is unproven, but I think what you're talking about with his running ability, I think it's going to be a different look. And I think USC is a really good team, but it's tough to play at Michigan, and I think that their ability to run the ball could be a different wrinkle, and time of possession could really help the Wolverines. I'm picking Michigan.
And if they get it going at home, that place is tough to play.
Right. Yeah. So that's the first 6 games. There's not a lot of differences yet.
I don't feel good about my last pick.
Nice pick on the last one,
that's a great pick. That's a good.
I'm going for the coin. I'm bringing it back. Let's go coin. Then on the back half here, after this break, we'll have the final 6 games of the week on a 12-game week in Big Ten football. Plus, they obviously picked Oregon for that kind of free bonus point. Our picks are brought to you by 7 Feathers. Back with more picks next. Stuck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear summer vacay, load up on fun in a new Toyota. Go off-road in the 4Runner, haul it all in the Tundra, play hard in the Tacoma, or take the scenic route in the all-new all-hybrid Camry. Visit Toyota.com for more info. Toyota, let's go places.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D, that means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, we're doing our picks. Big Ten football this week.
Hey, I just noticed something, Chris. So, do I have my headset on backwards? I mean, I notice everybody has the mic from the left.
Ah, interesting question. I think about this kind of dorky broadcast stuff myself, and I typically like it on the left. I don't know why.
Well, I think you'll see most professional broadcasters. Here we go. Never mind.
Oh, there's evidence.
I mean, I just,
You're not left-handed, right?
Now I'm not. It's starting to bug me, frankly, because I noticed last week when Joey was testing the headsets and he puts it on the opposite way, he said, yeah, the left ear's bad. I'm like, no, the right ear's bad. He says, well, no, you've got it on backwards. I said, no, I don't. Why didn't you tell me that 10 years ago? Why didn't you tell me that 30 years ago?
The reason you wear it on the right side is because in the booth, you're always talking to me. Okay, so you're talking to the mic on the right side.
Oh,
if it was over here, you'd be talking away from the mic. So to me, that's why you always have it on the right side.
It's a good theory. That sounds right.
I'm trying to make him feel better after what he said.
That's nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense.
But the box where it's connected to is the left, and so the cord has to go all the way across. And if I put it the other way, I would have more room to get closer to you.
Well, it wouldn't be on the other side if it ran down in front of us and up the right side. So then you'd have it on the right side, but John would be in the way. He'd be pushing it out of the way.
No.
We're gonna need
so
a
it's got to be on the
diagram.
left side. Mike's got to be on the – so, no, you're right where you should be.
Oh, okay.
No, it's good.
It all came from somewhere. Okay, we're continuing our picks brought to you by Seven Feathers. By the way, Joey, who's not here, he texted me regarding your guys' crazy rule changes and bonus pick. He said, this is ridiculous. That was his direct quote. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not all he said, but we can't say
Yeah,
that.
right. It's so many words, basically what he said.
Okay.
These will be fun. So there'll be less, just kind of more up in the air picks here. We start with UCLA at LSU. Who you got, Jerry?
Did you just say these would be more fun up in the air?
Yeah. Well,
UCLA
they're more
at home
interesting.
last week. Was it Indiana? See, yes. Indiana didn't have any trouble calling their offensive signals because the 45 people in the stadium didn't make enough noise. No, it's a tough place to play because it's so big, and fans, have not shown support so far for UCLA the way they need to be supported. Come on, UCLA fans, step up. I just think that LSU, holy cow, give me a break, no chance.
Is this one in Death Valley?
It is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
That's.
Boy, talk about a change in venues, right?
Right.
I mean, you go from an empty Rose Bowl to just a wild stadium at Death Valley in Baton Rouge. UCLA is struggling. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're struggling right now, not playing good football, and they got to get it together. And going on the road to Baton Rouge is not the place to get it together.
Yeah.
Now, was it Joey's turn?
It was Joey's turn, yeah.
Good.
I didn't want to
make
cut you
my
off,
pick
but there it is. Joey picking LSU.
Same with me.
And I have LSU as well. I think.
Let me say this, though. This is college football. It's only week 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
UCLA has good athletes.
Yeah.
And the cupboard was not bare. They're not empty down there. So I'm not saying this is one of those upset games, but it wouldn't shock me if UCLA plays a much better football game than they did. If they don't, I'm not sure where this season goes for UCLA.
Yeah.
So they're either going to come back and play tough. I'm not saying they're going to win, but they got to play tough, or this year gets to be very long.
And Oregon's next.
Yeah.
Rutgers at Virginia Tech. Jerry?
It's kind of a fun one.
But Rutgers hasn't had a real test. This is their first real test. They haven't been tested yet. I'm looking to run down. VTech lost only at Vandy, I think that was an overtime game. Mm-hmm. So it's at VTech. I know Rutgers is a really tough, good football team, but I like VTech at home. I think they got a pretty good football team this year, and I think it's an upset. I don't know who's favoring that ball game, but I'm going to go VTech.
Okay. Virginia Tech is favored, so you were going with technically the safe pick there, but it's pretty close. Joey is going with Rutgers.
Well, here we go.
He's not here to say exactly why, but he's picking Rutgers in this matchup.
Not a bad
Jordy.
pick. Not a bad pick.
I like the hair, and I like the pick.
Yes.
I think Greg Schiano and that Rutgers team is tough, hard-nosed. They've played some pretty good football this year. I know Virginia Tech last year really played the second half of the season tremendous. I mean, that's where they improved. And then they started off with that loss to Vanderbilt, which was kind of a bad loss, frankly. Everybody expected them to go in there and just take care of business, and they didn't. Back home, in Blacksburg, I think is a great place to be if you're Virginia Tech, but I just think Rutgers is on a mission. And I'm taking
I agree.
Rutgers.
I'm going Rutgers, too. I think their run game is terrific. They've only played Akron and Howard, but Kyle Monagai, one of the best running backs in the country. I mean, I think he's got similarities to Ashland Ginty for Boise State in terms of just pure dominance as a running back. So I like Rutgers' run game to control the ball at Virginia Tech on the road and get the win.
If it was in Piscataway, they would really
be a no-brainer.
Yeah, no-brainer.
Right.
So this is my chance
this
to
is your chance.
jump you.
It is.
You're going to be going for the Hokies this week.
I'm Hokie all the way.
Hokie all the way. I like that.
It's not really what I meant, but
Northwestern and Washington.
Washington's only loss was a rivalry game. And I think Washington State's a pretty good football team this year. So I'm not sure that Washington's going to have that bad of a year. I think Jed Fish is a heck of a coach. They still got athletes, and they're playing at home. I'm going to go with the Huskies. I think they get it. I mean, Northwestern, good football team too, but they're playing at Washington. I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, and Joey, I won't give it away. Let's let the graphic come up here. There it is. UW. He's going Washington as well. Jorgie, who you got?
I agree. Yep. I mean, I just think Northwestern's not as good away from home. It's going to be a tough place to play in Husky Stadium. I think Washington's playing some pretty good football with all the guys that they've had to replace under Jed Fish. They've done a nice job. And as Jerry said, Washington State's a good football team. They are. Good defensive team. Pretty good in getting better offensive team. I think they're going to cause some troubles for a lot of teams this year. Washington State might find themselves in the talk towards the end of the season if they keep playing like they are. But anyhow, we're talking about this game. I'm taking the Huskies.
Yeah, I think if Northwestern could maybe force a couple turnovers, control time possession, they've got a chance. But you got to pick Washington home. So I'm going with the Huskies as well.
By the way, Will Rogers, I think, is the Husky quarterback.
Yeah.
Great start, 6 touchdowns, no picks. They're averaging 7.5 yards a run. So I just don't know if Northwestern's defense can hold Washington down.
Yeah, if Washington can convert that one play, that 4th and goal, the conversation's probably way different.
Yeah.
Just a play short. Yeah. Iowa at Minnesota. That's going to be a good one, Jerry.
Yeah, I actually looked up some stuff. Iowa's only loss in a rivalry game. Caleb Johnson is averaging 8 yards a carry. They can run the ball. Their defense is supposed to be better. Wasn't Iowa supposed to have a really great defense? Yeah.
Pretty much every year, it feels like.
They've given up some points.
Yeah, they have. I don't know. The Gophers can do a little. They're pretty tough defense. This is a tough pick. Where's this game?
This is at Minnesota in Minneapolis.
And it's a rivalry game, right?
For the Oak and Bucket?
Is that what it is?
I'm going to go.
I can confirm that, but I believe so.
I'm going to go and give you guys a chance to jump me again. I'm going to go Minnesota in this one.
Minnesota.
I'm going to go Minnesota at home. I think it's a 3-point advantage, and they're. Yeah, I'm going to go Minnesota.
Wow. Jerry's going Minnesota.
I'm not convinced of Iowa's defense quite yet this year.
They haven't shown it quite yet. Let's go with Joey's pick here. He's got Minnesota as well.
Oh, wow.
So he aligns with your thought process there.
Now I felt like everybody was just going to automatically pick Iowa.
Yeah. Does that change your pick strategically?
No, I'm taking Iowa.
Okay, you're picking Iowa.
I just think I don't think Minnesota is very good offensively, and Jerry's right. I don't think Iowa's defensively, maybe from a numbers standpoint, wanted to do what they've want to accomplish this season. I mean, Iowa State kind of Iowa'd them, frankly.
Yeah.
And they gave up some points last week against a nobody, but they also scored points. I'm not saying they're going to score a lot of points against Minnesota, but I don't think they have to. So I'm taking Iowa.
I'm taking Iowa as well. I think their defense is not where we've seen in the past, but I think that Kirk Ferentz and that staff has earned the trust that it's going to get better. They have the talent there. It's Iowa. And offensively, they're putting up some better numbers. So I think that kind of extra little firepower that Iowa has is going to help them on the road. And I've got Iowa at Minnesota. By the way, it's the Floyd of Rosedale is the trophy they
Floyd
play for.
Of Rosedale.
It's like a bronze pig they play for there.
Wow.
I knew it was some sort of trophy. I just couldn't. I was saying the Oak and Bucket, but I can't remember who does that.
Yes,
so.
A bronze trophy in the shape of a pig. And they've been playing since 1891. So one of the most storied rivalries. So Iowa, Minnesota, those are our picks. Michigan State, Boston College.
Another interesting
one. Yeah, really interesting game. I'm probably going to go the way of most of the home teams in tight ball games this week, and I think this is a tight one. I'm not convinced that Michigan State's together yet, but again, what worries me is this season is so young. We haven't really played enough football to see whether some of the ugliness is being fixed or uncovered. I'm going to go Boston College. I think they are really scrappy at home. I think they cause people problems. I'm going to go BC, the Lions.
Okay, and Joey. He aligns with you. He thinks BC as well.
Yeah, I think BC's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they gave Missouri. You know how I said that?
Yeah,
Missouri. I feel like I'm from Missouri.
My grandma's from Missouri, and she used to say it like
said that.
So I learned it. Yeah,
Missouri. They gave Missouri all they could handle, and obviously that opening weekend victory over Florida State. I just, Jonathan, I mean, the bottom line is Michigan State is winning. They're undefeated, and I don't care how you get there, you begin to believe that maybe you're a little bit better each week based on the fact that you're winning. But BC.
Oh, I thought you were.
Oh. Yeah, I thought about it. But and by the way, Michigan State 2 weeks from today is here in Autzen Stadium. Looking forward to that, a night game. I'm taking BC. I just think BC is really solid all around, offensively, defensively, and I think they're going to take this one at home.
I'm changing my pick. I'm picking Michigan State just for the heck of it, just because nobody else did. So I was going to pick BC as well. I had some notes written down why.
Yeah.
But let's go Michigan State. Why not? Right?
Okay, you're gambling a little bit.
Yeah. I have low risk, high reward here because this is.
Oh, that's true.
As it stands, this might be my only pick week, right? So I might as well just go. So I'm swinging for the fences.
Yeah,
We changed enough rules. Joey may not come back though. So
you may change some serious rules here. Purdue at Oregon State.
Corvallis. Quarterback Hudson Card, really good for Purdue. 71% throwing the ball. Purdue is one of those, tough Big Ten teams. But I think Oregon State bounces back. I think they run the ball, Georgie. I think they run the ball, and I think they stop the run. So Purdue, no ability to run the ball. I don't think they'll be able to, and I think Oregon State at home has got something to prove this week, and I think they can do it. I'm going to go Beavers.
And Joey agrees with you. His pick is Oregon State. Georgie, knowing that, what do you got?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to pick a little different this game. I think Hudson Card's pretty good, but frankly, I think the Purdue running game gets a little bit of a running game going, and if they can, that makes Hudson Card and that passing game for Purdue that much better. And I agree with Jerry. I mean, Oregon State's going to run it. It's what they do. It's what their identity is. But if they struggle at all, it's going to be really tough at home, second week in a row against a Big Ten team, which sounds funny, just having played Oregon.
Right.
But, it is. It is what it is, and I think Purdue comes in and gets the win, so I'm taking the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I think Purdue's got some tough defensive linemen, and they need to protect Giovanni McCoy, and I think Purdue's experienced quarterback Hudson Card, I've got Purdue as well.
Oh, okay.
So a couple Purdue picks there. And then, so those are all of our picks, and then the bonus pick, you guys already get a point automatically with Oregon.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm just going to say this again. You won last week.
He's pointing to Georgie.
Well, yeah, Georgie won last. When you win, you should be able to go first. All right, not last.
Okay.
So
and what I forgot too, as the winner of the previous week, is I forgot to use my deferral. Oh. But that was going last, so it really didn't matter.
No,
in our group.
No. So I vote that the guy who wins each week gets to go first.
Okay.
Can you explain the deferral system to me? Because I remember I was watching this last week and I was getting a little lost in the deferral system. So enlighten us on the deferral.
Well, here's the reason the deferral works better. If you won last week and you go first, you get to defer. When the pick comes up, if you think this is a very close game, I don't know, I want to see what the other guys say. I'm going to defer this game.
I see.
So,
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but if you go last, what are you deferring for?
Right.
So
that makes sense.
So we're switching it back to the way it was the previous weeks, but this week we changed it. So
and then we might change it again next week.
And
so
then we'll vote
see.
on whether the person who wins this week gets to actually use the deferral next week.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. I love approaching this with rules like it's life or death because it is.
It's fair.
It's serious.
And the most important thing is that next week we'll have food. Oh no, we're out of town. Dang it.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I was so excited to have John Sargent come in with
at UCLA.
One of these full of something.
Yeah, really. Yeah, Ducks on the road.
On the road at UCLA. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. It was fun.
Oh, Chris, thanks for having us. Yeah,
thanks for being here, Chris. Thanks for helping.
It's an honor for me, to get to do some picks here with you. So when we come back later on Duck Insider, we hear from Oregon Baseball. Waz and company starting off their fall practices. Coming up next, Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Ma, is this how you feed a hamster?
I think so.
Is my homework right?
I think so.
Is, this milk still good?
I think so.
When it comes to parenting, sometimes it's okay to think you know. But when it's something as important as your child's car seat, don't just think. Know. Double check if your child is in the right seat for their age and size. It'll help protect them in a car crash. Don't just think. Know by visiting nhtsa.gov/the right seat. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back in Duck Insider, Chris Clayton here with you. Just had Jerry Jorge here. The chaos that is always the weekly picks. We have all the picks. They're on the record. They're official. And we'll see how things go with my picks as well, picking for the coin. We're in our Country Financial studio here. Duck Insider is brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Oregon baseball. Last week, head coach Mike Wasikowski caught up with the media. They started their fall practices, and he kind of discussed what to expect this year from Ducks baseball. They've got a lot of transfers. They've got a lot of freshmen, a lot of faces returning. Expectations are high. There's a ton of talent that'll be on display at PK Park this year. So let's hear from that conversation the media that Waz had with the media from last week.
I'll start with just general. I mean, what I assume would be excitement, enthusiasm for a weekend like this to kind of see everybody coming together and kind of getting things kicked off.
Yeah, thrilled to get a chance to, see this year's version of the Oregon Ducks. And I mean, we get a chance to tee it up and start this week, which is great. Can't wait for that. The group that we've got coming to campus, we really like a lot. We think this group is really potentially going to continue to move the needle as we have each and every year, and continue to grow and build this program like we set out 2 years ago. And at this point, five years ago, the COVID year, we didn't really have the COVID year after that thing got blown up. But then for the next 4 years to build off of what we've been able to accomplish, the 2 regionals and then 2 super regionals. And we just want to continue to build this program. And we think we have with the roster that we've put together, and we're excited to work with these guys.
What's it like to have that be kind of the foundation for expectations, the success you've had in the postseason, knowing that, taking the next step means big things potentially?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it wasn't long ago where taking the next step was, man, we just got to get to a regional, and no, we're not there anymore, right? That is one of the goals, being a regional, being a super regional, College World Series, and ultimately winning a national championship, the stepping stone approach, and we feel as though we're continuing to make progress. We have each and every year, and we think, like I said, we think that this roster that we've put together for this group has a chance to even exceed anything we've done here before.
Part of that roster is the transfer portal class. Baseball America ranked them number 10 in the country. What are your thoughts about the class and some of the guys who really stand out?
I didn't know that about Baseball America. I'm happy that those guys recognize our class to be good. What do I notice about the class? I just feel like they're good people. First off, they've had successful paths. And that's a huge part of it, right? I mean, especially when you're trying to replace players that were drafted and signed professionally, and that's how we use the transfer portal. We're not a program that's just going to sit around and have 20 players from the transfer portal in our program each year. A recruiting class of 20 players in a transfer portal is not something that I'm interested in. I'm interested in building our program with high school players, as we've done, and then supplement as needed And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? But bottom line is I'm excited about the transfer class we have in. I'm really excited about the freshman class too. I don't know what the gurus say about our freshman class, but I know the gurus should say a lot about our freshman class because it's really good.
As you're looking to instill, reinforce culture this time of year, do you have leaders identified already, or is that something you want to kind of emerge organically over the coming weeks and months?
I think a little bit of both, right? I mean, you can't diminish what people have done here, specifically in the past, and even with newcomers, whether they're guys that have played at this level or they're high school players. I mean, we have a theory that says that everybody's a leader, you know, and we'll figure out who those leaders are based off of how they act and what they do, you know. And so for us, we've got players that have returned now to our program and have been around for a long time. You know, when you go around the field and you look around the field, you're not looking at a million new faces. You're looking at pretty much, when you look at the field, you're looking at largely a team that was the very similar look to what you finished a season a year ago with, that was very successful. And so to have all those guys back is comforting, but still yet, you know, I mean, these are young people and they change. And so hopefully the changes that all come into young people, nobody stays the same. Hopefully the changes have been good, positive ones, and they continue to grow and develop in the right direction.
What's kind of the itinerary here for fall ball? Just like what's the schedule? Like how do you want to see this shaping out over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I mean, we run through basically Thanksgiving. And so, you know, we've got more or less 3 segments. The first segment is the before school segment where by rule we're able to practice pretty much an unlimited hours stretch. So we get a lot of stuff in before school starts, and school starts on the 30th. Once school starts on the 30th, then it goes into a different segment. And that's 20-hour weeks where we continue practice and we continue scrimmages. We'll go 3 scrimmages a week. Scrimmages will be open to the public as soon as we hit the month of October. And we'll go 3 scrimmages a week all the way through basically the end of October and maybe even into November, depending on how things shake out. We'll make that determination, but that's the next segment. You know, that October segment ends specifically on Halloween for us. And then we go into our November segment that runs through the Thanksgiving break. And that's more of a skill hour session time where we clean up some things and try to really break down some player development things specifically for individuals.
Any individuals catch your eye the last couple of months, whether it was coming back to campus now and like, wow, that guy really took, you know, reshaping his body seriously, or something somebody did at summer ball, guys that you were really encouraged by?
I don't know if we have time. That's a long discussion, right? I mean, just physically, you know, first team meeting, you look around and I mean, the bodies are extremely physical, which is something that, you know, we pride ourselves in. It's no secret. We like to recruit players that can hit the ball over the fence. You know, it's easier to score that way than it is to score other ways. And so for us, we like to hit the ball over the fence. We like to bring guys in that can do that. We like to be known as a balanced team, and we like to be known as a cerebral team. So obviously there's been deficiencies that have held the teams back from time to time. We've tried to address all of those, no matter what they are. We tried to continue to develop it. I mean, specifically individuals. Chase Maggers went off in the summer. He went crazy. You know, we've got a transfer, tall, skinny right-hander, let's just call it. You know, I mean, Jason Wrights is tremendous. He's from St. Mary's. He came to us basically from St. Mary's through the Cape Cod League. He had an awesome summer. He was dominant. And so he's transferred in here as a junior, and he'll be, I'm sure, very high on scouts' lists because of the things that he's able to do in his draft-eligible year. And then we're blessed to be able to have guys like Jacob Walsh, Drew Smith, you know, freshman All-American Max Maloney back, Carter Garrotti, who's going into his junior year. He was a tremendous player for us, especially as that season got going, and in postseason play last year, he might have even been our best player. To have Anson Arrows return as an outfielder, Mason Neville, who might have been the absolute hottest player, one of the hottest players in the country down the stretch for the last month of the season, and then to look at Grayson Grinsell amongst several of the other guys on the pitching staff returning and the ads, it's a good look.
Arrows is a guy who's, you know, in that super regional really made his presence felt, whether it's him specifically or someone else. Like, how much have you tried to build on that experience and kind of what guys did on that stage to help propel them through their teams talk about building momentum from a postseason that carries into a next season. Have you seen that, or are you trying to instill that, whether it's in individual guys or team-wise?
Yeah, that'll come in the coming weeks, right? I mean, we let these guys get away for the summer, and so they had their time to be able to continue their development, but more on their clock. More in their situations with summer ball and all that stuff. And so then we get a chance to see, right? And that's what starts here this coming week, is we get a chance to see who is really taking another step forward, hopefully, maybe even a couple of steps forward. And that's a lot of fun. I mean, guys like Dominic Hellman, I mean, geez, he just walks by me in the meeting and I'm going, holy cow, do you look good? And it's across the board. Jack Brooks is not a name that's a household name yet, but yet he was an all-star in the league that he played in this summer, and he ended up, I think, breaking the league record in stolen bases. Colin Clark, who got some innings as a freshman, and he ended up being the MVP of the California Collegiate League. Tremendous summer. Sammy Kova, few innings his freshman year, went off in the summer, and he was one of the best pitchers in the California Collegiate League again. So we've had some tremendous performers, and we're excited. We think that'll be an indicator that they're going to be much better and improve this coming season.
With those 3 segments of your fall practice, do you feel like there's a sort of advantage there to school starting so late on the quarter system? Does that benefit you guys?
Well, I like to think so. You can spin it however you want. I've been semester school and quarter school, so I've lived at both. I do feel strongly that the semester school, I think there's some pitfalls because, these kids, they get after it pretty good largely in the summer. And the quarter system situation gives them maybe a couple of weeks window to kind of get their breath in again after they finish summer ball, before they report to campus, and away they go. Now, we've had freshmen have been here, our entire freshman class. They've been here now for several weeks with the summer bridge session, and they've been legally allowed to start training here at the facilities, not with coaches yet, the baseball coaches, but specifically in the weight room and with their conditioning. And we like to think that will be an advantage for those guys coming into fall ball. And our administration has supported us to do that. Without their support, then we wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. So, a large amount of this credit when it comes to the success, it's players, but let's not forget about the administration that's helping us do this. Some really generous donors that we've had that have helped our program in a huge, huge way. Pat Kilkenny amongst so many others.
Do you guys have anybody coming in here for scrimmages throughout October?
We've got the Canadian national team. I think it's like October 6th, the Sunday, that they'll come in and they'll bring their group through, and we'll play against them for as many innings as we can. It'll be great.
Talking about the recent success of the program, have you noticed that momentum from a recruiting standpoint, whether it's freshman or transfer portal recruiting class, that people want to be a part of this program due to its recent success?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's a lot of hard work behind the scenes. Marcus Hinkle and Blake Hawksworth, Brett Thomas and Jack Marner, our recruiting coordinator. Those guys are tremendous. I'm blessed with a staff that's as good as it gets. I'm throwing Daryl Hunter in there, and now some of the young assistants. Daryl does our weight room and body movements and all the biokinetic stuff. And now we get a chance to be able to have Gavin Grant, Brad Mullen, Tim Cisnera. All these guys are returning. They're all Ducks, right? These guys are huge, huge pieces to be walking around the ballpark every day. Those are only assets for us and for our players to be able to utilize that. It's tremendous. And so it's what we had a vision, 5 years ago when we first started, and now we're starting year 6, and we're really excited about the progress we've been able to make. Just want to continue.
How important?
Yeah, exciting things ahead for Oregon baseball as they are in the midst of practice now. Mark Wasikowski, the head coach of the Ducks, coming off a terrific postseason run and a lot of talent, a lot to be excited about for Oregon baseball. One final break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. A Friday Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Wrapping things up on Duck Insider back in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Chris Clayton here with you. Our thanks to Mark Wasikowski. Talking to the media, we heard from him, the Ducks baseball coach. Jerry and Jorgie were in the studio earlier doing the picks here this week. It's a bye week for Oregon football, but still a lot going on. Oregon soccer's back in action on Sunday. That's 10 a.m. An early one, so some coffee and Ducks soccer as they take on Maryland. That'll be broadcast on Big Ten Plus. Oregon volleyball is here at Matthew Knight Arena on Sunday, 1 p.m. First serve against Oregon State. There's a Ducks-Bees matchup this weekend. Again, 1 p.m. You can go to support the number 12 ranked Oregon Ducks taking on Oregon State at Matthew Knight Arena. That'll be broadcast on Big Ten Plus as well. And how about Ducks men's golf? Casey Martin and Oregon playing Monday and Tuesday. They'll be in Sammamish, Washington, playing at Aldara Golf Club at the Tyndall is the tournament they'll be playing in. And then Oregon football will return, of course, next weekend, where they will be playing at UCLA. So that's it. That's the show. It's been a fun week. Enjoy the football bye week. You have a little bit of free time on Saturday, so enjoy yourselves. Thanks from all of us here in our Country Financial Studio. I'm Chris Clayton. Have a great weekend.